Welcome to Besiege Bots, the real home of robotic combat in Besiege. Today marks the finale of our Raptorweight Requiem tournament as our final 4 teams vie for the crown. We have 2 of the championship winning teams from our most recent major tournaments, the United Lunch Alliance and Team Meteor, but challenging them are 2 teams that have yet to make a final in Team Pilot Light, the 3rd place finishers from SummerSlamathon's middleweight bracket, and the underdogs Team Night Slash, who are looking to make their highest placing ever as a team regardless of the result. So without any further ado, let's get into our first semi-final matchup. And we're underway with the first fight of the finale episode, the semi-finals. Arctic Storm, probably the most devastatingly hard-hitting bot in the tournament so far, but Blaze took on Tornado of Souls, which also a pretty hard-hitting bot, and barely took damage until the last 10 seconds, so if anyone can beat Arctic Storm, maybe it's Blaze. To talk a little more about the teams though, of course the United Lunch Alliance were our 3rd place team in the super heavyweight bracket, while Team Pilot Light were our 3rd place team in the beetleweight bracket at SummerSlamathon. So these 2 teams competing for bragging rights to see who the best 3rd place team was. Though maybe the loser would be if they get another 3rd place here, who knows. Very good start for Blaze, closing down on Arctic Storm, but they had a little shaky driving there, but really nice there. Turned into the weapon at the last second and popped Arctic Storm up. Blaze doing a pretty good job so far, making sure they're pointing that front end at the weapon, but Arctic Storm's weapon is kind of deceptively hard to see when you're playing. It looks a lot easier to see when you're watching it because you're seeing it from the host's perspective, but when you're on ping and playing as on the client side, some weapons kind of match up with the frame rate at times, and then it skips frames and it's hard to see which way it's spinning. And Arctic Storm definitely has a weapon that spins fast enough to do that. So far though, Blaze doing a great job keeping the front end pointed at it. I'd say it's close on control. Arctic Storm, but that was a good hit. I think Arctic Storm, one of them lost a steering hinge there. Blaze loses its front end on a big hit there though. Oh, that's really gonna hurt him. I think it must have been Blaze that lost a steering hinge on that hit where Arctic Storm went into the air. And now Arctic Storm is doing what it does and just ripping it apart piece by piece. Oh, it's so unfortunate. Blaze put up a hell of a fight. Drove so carefully, but then Arctic Storm just showing why it's been the most deadly bot in the tournament so far. Just landing hit after hit. Well, I guess technically Boop, who we'll see in the next fight, also has 2 KO victories, but I'd say Arctic Storms were perhaps more impressive. Oh, Blaze really taking the hits now as Arctic Storm slowly grinds away at it. Another nice hit, but nice push into the wall there from Blaze, trying to get Arctic Storm to break itself, but it just won't. Actually, I do believe... Oh no, that cog is there. It's just hard to see while it's in the blue corner. Thought Arctic Storm may have lost one of its cogs, but unfortunately not for Blaze. Oh, is Arctic Storm going for some style points, launching itself off the arena flipper on top of Blaze. Perhaps not the smartest decision, but perhaps the most stylish they could have made. Oh, Blaze really eating these hits now. As Arctic Storm 15 seconds away from what will be a pretty decisive judgment, I would say. But hats off to Team Pilot Light. They had a hell of a run in this tournament, showed great driving skill, and really they showed it in this fight. It's just that Arctic Storm hits very hard. And we see the scores there. It was actually quite close in the end, but the damage just swung it toward Arctic Storm, and Arctic Storm will be our first finalist, while Blaze will compete in the fight for third. And now we kick off the second fight, seeing who will take on Arctic Storm in the grand final and who will take on Blaze in the fight for third, as Boot goes for a big swing but misses there against Migran. Team Yeedio with some good control early, coming off big win over the autonomous bot Black Box, using the same setup they did in that fight, but oh, something got stuck there. I thought Boot maybe damaged it, but it was just its own grappling mechanism getting caught under its own blades. Seems perfectly fine now. Surprised it didn't damage its own chassis getting the grappler unstuck, but that's what well-made bots do. Oh, the flying block's broken. One of the flying blocks broken, excuse me, on Migran by that hit from Boot. Migran's got quite a weird little... there's a lot of gaps in the chassis, which makes it very hard for Boop to actually get a good hit off. And that grappling arm at the front can kind of block the hammer a bit on Boop. So this is a tough one for Boop. It has to try and... ooh, that was a good hit there to the side. Didn't break anything, it doesn't look like, but it was a solid connection. And they need a lot more of those if they're gonna pull off the KO in this one. Migran, a bit harder to KO than the last two opponents, mostly just by virtue of having a sturdier chassis than Pearl and having four wheels instead of two, unlike Dippii. Boop circling now. Ooh, could have landed a big hammer shot there. Big swing there, but just didn't seem to do much damage. Oh, that was very strange. I think Boop's hammer clipped into a gap in the... I think it clipped into the arena when he tried to self-right, and it ended up breaking part of the chassis on Boop, which is going to make it a lot more unstable when it goes for these big swings. That's really unfortunate. A little arena mishap. Besiege is a bit of a jank game. We love it, but it's a little janky. Decent hit there, but just no connection. Big swing from Boop again. Migran doing a good job staying on top of Boop. Boop, another big swing. Lands right on top of Migran. Kind of caught itself on the grappling arm. Took a big swing, hit the wheel, but no real damage. Another swing and a miss from Boop. Boop really needs to land something of significance, because unfortunately, even though that damage was just due to Besiege jank, it is gonna count against Boop, so... And then definitely not winning on control, possibly on aggression though. You never know, Boop could be in with a chance, but that damage is definitely not looking good for it. Oh, and another big swing and ends up doing more damage to Boop. But does rip a wheel off of Migran, so maybe a chance for Boop. It definitely hurt their front end pretty bad as well though. And Migran getting another good push. 10 seconds left in this. Can Boop land one last big hit? Or whiffs on that one. And that's going to be time. We'll see how the judges saw it. Ooh, very close in the end. Migran winning out. Yeah, that damage just really cost Boop. But the aggression did almost bring it back. Migran moves on to face the United Lunch Alliance, two of our winning teams from this year, and Boop goes into the third place fight. And and our third place fight now as we see Blaze take on Boop. Boop, the victim of some arena Besiege jank in the semi-final fight against Migran, which may have cost it that extremely close decision, as we see Blaze bring out its third setup that it hasn't used yet. Every bot gets up to 3 setups, and this one we haven't seen. The anti-hammer variant, I think it's meant to kind of keep hammer bots away from itself. Actually, I'm not even sure it's an anti-hammer variant. I don't really know what it's for, but it's scooping Boop in and keeping it in front. Plenty of chassis to hit though on Blaze, and Boop, if it can line itself up, can get some big swings off. Blaze doing a good job. Gets Boop stuck in. But, ooh, Boop's hammer may be a little too long, and it actually overswings the chassis if it's right in front of Blaze. Maybe he wants to, like, back up a little bit once it does get trapped in there. Ooh, Blaze getting caught up on the ramrods, and Boop takes a big swing, but... Besiege. No damage because, unfortunately, Boop just flipped itself too hard on that hammer swing, so the hammer swing didn't really do any damage. Ooh, but a nice flip there from Boop. Fired the hammer into the arm on Blaze. Blaze gets the arm underneath Boop and had him stuck there for a bit. Boop, another big swing. No dice so far. Ooh, nice big swing from Boop yet again. And Blaze coming in, looking to get some control down. Good swing there from Boop. Still no damage on Blaze. But fortunately, no damage on Boop this time. Definitely losing out on control. Aggression, not sure. Not landing as many hits as it did against Migran just yet. Oh, there's a good hit. Doesn't look like any damage was done, but it was a good hit. Blaze doing a great job controlling there as Boop fires the hammer to escape the pin. Well, escape the grapple. Boop kind of stuck on its side and just swinging the hammer wildly, trying to get Blaze off it. Blaze. Yeah, ooh, another nice hit from Boop. Still no damage though. It shows you how hard Arctic Storm hits, that arguably the second hardest hitting bot in the competition, Boop, in terms of damage done, is not able to do any damage against a bot that Arctic Storm just ripped into a dozen pieces or so. And Blaze, really good control. Blaze likely on their way to a decision. 40 seconds left, and Boop once again probably needing a big hit to try and make a comeback in this. They've done it before, but can they do it here? Oh, really struggling to self-right. Blaze is touching them though, so they're not being counted out. Oh, now they might be getting counted out. Oh, Blaze backing off. Boop not able to self-right. Ooh, but they make it, I guess, just in time. Would have been a horrible way to go out, just unable to control the self-right. And Boop gets one last big swing and eats itself into the chassis. But that's time, and even with that, didn't do that much damage. Does win on damage, broke a couple steering hinges on that last hit, but Blaze is our third place. And 2 in a row there for Team Pilot Light. Boop, 4th place, still a good showing for Team Night Slash. Congratulations to both teams. We begin the first match of the grand final. A big hit as Arctic Storm and Migran come together. 2 of our champion teams. We were expecting these 2 probably to make the final, but Migran, the bot of Team Meteor, who won both brackets in SummerSlamathon, and the United Lunch Alliance took first place in the lightweight bracket of SBC 2020. So, Arctic Storm and Migran off to an interesting start. Migran keeping that grappler down. Grabbers are invincible, so essentially using it as armor to try and bounce the weapon of Arctic Storm off of itself. Ooh, so getting a big hit there. There's some damage done to Migran. Yeah, that front right side seems a bit bouncy. Ooh, there's a wheel comes off of Migran now. Oh, Migran is getting destroyed right now. Taking a lot of damage. Arctic Storm doing what it's done all tournament long. Just landing one hit that causes a little bit of damage and then proceeding to land more and more damage with every hit. That front right side is what's damaged on Migran, but obviously lost the back left wheel as well now. It's going to make it quite difficult to drive. Ooh, another good hit from Arctic Storm. It's also making it hard for Migran to gain those control points. Is probably relying on, as it slows the bot down and really makes it difficult to push Arctic Storm around, because it also makes itself lighter, which means Arctic Storm's going to smack it away as it loses another wheel on that left side. Well, it's looking very bad for Migran. This final is best of 3, so even if Migran loses here, they still have 2 more potential fights to try and take the win. Oh, and another hit from Arctic Storm. Migran's surviving, which none of Arctic Storm's previous opponent, well, Blaze actually did manage to make it in. It actually was quite a close decision. But this is probably the least damage Arctic Storm has done. Like, even that Blaze fight was worse than this, I think. Really good hits from Arctic Storm. Oh, you see one of the flying blocks from Migran stuck up on the wall as Migran loses another wheel. Down to 1 wheel left. Still got the cogs in one of its flying blocks, but 30 seconds to go, and this is looking like a pretty doomed first fight for Migran, short of... Oh, one of the cogs gets ripped off. That is not a common thing. Cogs very, very durable. And Arctic Storm just ripping chunks out of Migran. And looks like we will make it to a judgment. We'll see how it occurs. And yeah, it's a win for Arctic Storm. Didn't win on control or style, so Migran, you know, got some kind of pity points, but Arctic Storm wins fight 1. We'll see what happens in fight number 2. Fight number 2 begins now, with Migran charging hard, bringing a different setup this time. This time it's set up with a drill. Sort of a pseudo-hammer setup. Ooh, struggling to get the drill into the right position, but manages to do so now. Drills are very high friction, so they can cause really weird hits with grabbers, where occasionally the grabbers can destabilize and actually blow up, but it just rips the drill off. So the plan has not quite worked out for Migran. Unfortunately, they don't entirely have a anti-spinner setup. So, ooh, nice charge there, but they just lose a steering hinge, and this is what Arctic Storm has been doing every fight. You'll land a decent charge on it, and another decent one there, but it just slowly whittles down each piece. Actually, I think that steering hinge was just the last one that was holding the drill on, so it's not a structural piece. So Migran's still pretty intact. Pretty much fully intact as a control bot. Decent there from both bots, really. Arctic Storm gets kind of caught up on the plate and was stuck on one of those steering hinges, but oh my god, just rips a whole side off of Migran, a whole left side of the bot. Wheels and all gets ripped off. Arctic Storm already. Oh, Migran is folding in on itself. There's more structural. Yeah, the right side is actually disconnected from the center of the bot, and Migran is stuck up on its own wedge and doesn't have a way to get down. Arctic Storm even more decisive in fight number 2, and that's it. Arctic Storm is your Raptorweight Requiem Champion. Migran, unfortunately, Team Meteor not able to pull off the three-peat, but a hell of a tournament for them, and Arctic Storm your champions. Congratulations to the United Lunch Alliance, who win their second crown for the year. And with that, Raptorweight Requiem comes to a close. Before we get into the outro, I of course have to congratulate our podium teams. Taking 4th place, we have Team Nightslash with Boop, who even in defeat managed their best tournament placing to date. In 3rd place, we have Team Pilot Light with Blaze, their second top 3 finish in a row. Our runners-up, Team Meteor with Migran, just failing to continue their tournament winning streak. And of course our champions adding a second crown to their trophy cabinet for the year, the United Lunch Alliance with Arctic Storm. Of course, a final thank you to all the teams who helped make Raptorweight Requiem a great tournament. Coming up on the channel next will either be our final major tournament for 2020 Middleweight Mayhem, or Featherweight Farewell, a second small tournament that will then lead into Middleweight Mayhem. We hope you enjoyed this tournament, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing. If you're interested in joining our community, follow the Discord link in the description. And from everyone in the Besiege Bots Discord, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.